So we're here to talk about today what to do if you have a pair and you've put them together and not a whole lot is going on. That is the case with my pair here. I paired them up at the same time I did all my other birds, and pretty much most of them are laying eggs right now, or at least have a really nice nest built, and it's just going to be a matter of days. But unfortunately this pair is not doing a whole lot. I thought maybe they were building a nest at one time, but looking at it now, I'm not sure that's even one of them built a nest. I think maybe it just laid out that way when I put nest material in the nest pan. So when that happens, the first thing I have to ask myself is, are these, the same sex? I mean, that's a possibility. There's one I'm sure is a male. The other one I'm really not sure. When it was a baby, I thought it was a boy, and I had it with my males, it never sang. So then I took it out and I put it with my females and it never sang. The problem with both of those situations is that you can have a submissive male, and if you have him with your other males, he's going to be quiet because he's being submissive to them. If you put him with the hens, the older hens sometimes do not like that little baby song, and they do not like to listen to the boys sing, and they will chase him around and discourage him from singing. So if he's a real submissive male, he might stop. If you really aren't sure about a bird, the best thing to do is put it by itself somewhere. Put it alone and see what happens. See if he sings like this guy, or if he just, doesn't do much. Maybe it's a hen. Every once in a while, a breeder, some of the other breeders I've talked to, this happens to them too. They just don't know. You just run across a bird that really doesn't act female and really doesn't act male. It makes a nice pet for somebody, but for you, it's probably not the right bird to have in your breeding program because you're not going to have any babies. So another thing that I think about when I have a pair that's not breeding, what can I do to increase my odds of them coming into condition? Have I done everything right to bring this bird into condition? Well, my thoughts being that they are in here with all my other birds that are breeding now is that yes, I have, but you might think about your own bird room and what you are doing. When you bring a bird into condition, basically that means bringing it into breeding mode, making it want to breed. You have to think about nature, and I always think about, okay, what's going on in the spring? It's getting warmer. So if you have a cooler environment, if you increase the temperature, that alone is going to tell your bird, hey, it's getting warmer. It might be time to breed. There's more light as well in the spring. So most breeders that I know of increase light to at least 12 hours a day, and I use timers. Or you can wait until it's naturally that time outside, the daylight is 12 hours. Some other varieties of canaries that are larger might need even more hours, up to 14 hours, but you don't want to go past that because you might put them into a molt. So I can increase the light, and maybe that would help bring these birds into condition. Another thing that happens in spring for other birds is that there's more protein, and there's more, shoots and new growth, and all of a sudden there's all this new food. So a lot of breeders in the winter time, they will emulate nature and just give the birds kind of a basic seed with a little bit here and there of extras. You don't want to just, give them nothing. But you do kind of stop with all the pampering of the tender shoots and everything that they would normally get in spring. Once they get those things, all of a sudden they're thinking, wow, we have all this extra food. And that again triggers time to have babies, everything to feed babies. So those are a few things. Other breeders, and I'm not sure about this one, some people believe having a lot of water around, giving them extra water, because in the spring everything's melting, so there's more water outside and they can take baths, and it's just more plentiful. So some people I know will increase water when they're having problems with breeding too. So those are a few things that you can do to bring your birds into condition. One other thing I do, and I think a lot of breeders do, is feed vitamin E. I do it in the Petamine breeding formula. Some breeders feed wheat germ, and I've done that before too. You want to be careful with vitamin E because it can make the males really crazy. Like they can get really kooky off of it, and it's like catnip for cats or something. They'll start chasing the hens and being like, you know, in super breed mode, and that gets really annoying for the hens. And then, you know, they don't want to breed with the males, and then you have that problem. So you don't want to get your males hypersexual. You just want to have them slowly come into breeding mode and not get too crazy. So be careful with the vitamin E. It can go overboard, and your males can get really nutty, and then the hens aren't going to like them, and you know you're not going to have success. So having said everything I just said, you can take that the opposite way if you have a hen that won't come out of breeding mode, and that happens too. Happens to me pretty much every year. So you can do things. You can think about, well, what happens in the wintertime? It gets colder, so making their environment colder might bring them out of breeding mode. These are hens that are keep laying eggs, and you don't want them to lay anymore. You know, you can stop feeding those nice protein and extra foods, the rich and tender shoots and leaves and all of that, because those are spring food, and that says breed. We have all this food to feed our babies. So if you stop feeding that, maybe you'll get them out of breeding mode. You can take them away from the male song, because the male song will often help to bring them into breeding mode too. So that's another one trick that I use sometimes, is to play that CD around the hens, my canary CD, and sometimes that does bring them into breeding mode. So you can think about all the things that I've just told you that brings them into breeding mode. And if you want to get a hen out of breeding mode, you know, take away the extra water, do all those things, and hopefully that will help you with your breeding season and to have success and help your hens get on the ball and do what you need them to do. So good luck to you.